All right, so I'm going to try to make a video getting into how to control the snake movement as well as add kind of onto the snake or grow the snake. Let's just kind of review where we're at real quick. First of all, I only have 3 classes. All this stuff is, but I have a snake class, a game class, and a tile class. Um, Really, let's run this thing here too. Um, Really, tiles are just rectangles. The big thing about tiles is that they're able to store other information, like specifically direction. I guess if you want, you could store colors and stuff. Um, but that's kind of where I left off. Is we sort of built this array list, which contained 5 tiles and had a direction of 1, and was able to move off the screen. I had sort of alluded to, I think, how this, how you're going to control the snake movement with this method here called update direction. And I don't know if I had this comment. The head of the snake is going to call this method. So it's not any tile in particular, but just one tile, and that's the head of the snake. And I had some print statements here to sort of make sure that this was doing what I expected it to do. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through the board, right? This line here, it allows us to iterate through the board. We're then checking the X location of the tile that calls this method, remember, which is the head of the snake, with the X location of each tile on the board, as well as the Y location, right? And when they are the same, that would mean that the head of the snake is on that particular tile. Then that tile in the board is going to take the direction from the head of the snake. Okay, that's what this method does. So let's take a look at the game class. And what I did here, just to make this like a little bit more readable, is I made a constructor for this class as a GDB5 class. I just said super. If I didn't do that, it would just automatically do that. I'm not really giving any arguments. And I said the head would be the index 0 of the array list body, right? That's going to be the head of the snake. And then I ran the make board method, which populated the board with all the tiles, right? Okie dokie, what else we got here? So in the update method, I've got account variable. I'm saying head.set direction. Oh no, I'm saying head. That's saying head.set head direction. The reason I did that is because, like, I don't know, I was not happy with my variable names or method names and things like that. But I already had a direction per tile, and so I already had a set direction method. And this was a very particular method just for the head, because only the head is going to take the direction off of my keyboard input, really. And then the rest of the snake is going to sort of pick up the direction off of the board. So the head sets the direction on the board as it moves around, and then the rest of the snake picks up the direction off of the board. That's the plan, anyway. So this set head direction thing, I don't know if I've called this or written this method yet. And then we're saying when count gets to 20, then we're going to update the direction, and that's the method we talked about, where the head is actually like placing the direction on the board. And then we're asking our snake to move, and then drawing some things. This was some weird stuff. I don't know if I ended up using this. This is show me. This is like I was trying to debug something, and then here we have make board. Okay. All right. So let's go back here and let's take a look at set head direction. Oh yeah, I didn't write it yet. Okay. So let's think about this. This is really going to be based on the what you type into the keyboard, right? So this is where we're going to use the keys pressed array. And I'm going to say key event dot Right. Okay. Wait, what did I do? Okay. So if that happens, we want direction to be what? 2 is up. How about that? How about that? Oh, that was weird. All right, so 1 is going to be left for us right now. I'm saying 3 is right. All right, does that seem to make sense? So if I press, oh, I must not. We don't know what keys pressed is. It belongs to GB5, or I could say. Okay. How about that? How about that? Jeez. Boom. Boom. Okay, how about that? Okay, so now let's go back here and let's think about this. See what this. So I'd actually already called this method in here, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm kind of calling this constantly in the update method. Then update in direction, s1.move. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's kind of my expectation, is that I'm now able to control the movement of the head of the snake, but the body of the snake is not picking up the direction. It's not picking up what the head is throwing down, so to speak. Okay. So how do we do that? How do we get that to happen? Well, it's really this logic right here. So again, here we are iterating. Iterate through the board, right? And then we're checking XY locations of the tile kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. And let me get rid of this for right now. By the way, a lot of debugging on this. It should actually be really simple. And the funny thing is, the first time I did it was all simple. Second time I did it, I just made a mistake and typed in X instead of Y somewhere and didn't realize it. Had all kinds of fun. Okay, so let me just grab this method. I'm going to grab this method. It's so similar. I'm going to grab this method and put it in the snake class, because here's where my body is, right? And paste this. All right, so we got a couple different. So I have this thing called update direction. What do I want to call it? What do I want to call it? Yeah, it's like just weird names. Update direction for the body. All right, I'm gonna call it update body direction. Bam, it's a big name. Update body direction. Do I need to pass in a tile board? It's not the head of the snake. Yeah, I do. I need to see the board. Do I need to iterate the board? Yes. Yes, I do. But I also need to iterate through the body of the snake. And here, I'm not going to say int j equals 0. I'm going to say int j equals 1, because I don't want to, I'm not going to deal with the head of the snake. That's its own sort of thing. This is just sort of for the rest of the body. And it's going to be j is less than body dot size because it's an array list and you don't use length for the array list. And we're going to say j plus plus. How about that? How about that? Boom. And I think I want to like, how's that? How's that? Okay, so let's think about this a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to iterate to the body. So iterating over the board, iterating over the body. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to compare. It's not this dot get x, right? That was from the other thing. It's it's the body. So we're going to check out the body dot get index j, right? That's how we're controlling the direction of the body. If that is equal to the board I dot get x and again body dot get index j dot get x is equal, or y, right, is equal to board index I dot get y. Okay, so what that means is one of the pieces of the body has landed on a tile on the board, right? What do we want to do? We want that piece of the body to pick up the direction from the tile that it landed on, okay? Now, this code here is the code we kind of copied, and that's the board picking up the direction that the from the head of the tile that landed on it. So, you know, I'm saying the same thing backwards, forwards, left, right. So I don't want to set the direction of the board. No. I want to set the direction of the body here that landed on it. So it's body index j, right? Or body dot get j. I want to set the direction of that with the direction that we get from the board that it landed on. Boom. And that's it. That is it. That's all it should be. I don't know why I made it so tough. Okay, so how about this? Let's come back over here to the game class. We're going to have to call it somewhere. There's a lot of places you could call it. You know, bottom line is it just needs to be called before we move. So how about S1 dot update body direction? How about that? Is that all right? Oh, I need a board. How about there you go. And S1.move. I don't know. Feel pretty good. I'm pretty good about that. I'm pretty good. Boom. 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 There it is. I can't believe I sat here for so long. I think sometimes I get tired and my brain gets fogged. Yeah. Especially when you get older. But anyways, that's snake movement, right? That's snake movement. Okay. And then we got to think about growing the snake, right? You know, having the snake grow a little bit, and really kind of have that already. Kind of have a lot of that already in place. The trick Arunski with this is you got to think about where you're going to place that tile. It kind of depends on how everything else is moving. Rather than just, I don't know, rather than just show you the answer, maybe we should kind of debug it a little bit. These original add bodies were more to do with creating the original snake, kind of, I guess. Operating an array. Oh, and yeah, I think this might be fun for when we make our enemy snakes and stuff too. Okay, but basically, I wanna make a method to add the body, and this is going to become my general one. And so I'm not going to take any parameters on this one. So no parameters. So 3 add bodies. So I hope you agree I need an X and a Y value to add onto the body, right? But I really want the X and Y value of the last tile in the snake, right? So that can be found by body.size minus 1, right? That's the location of the last tile, right? Okay, and then I said like the box size, the size of the box is really, I could say body.get 0 dimension, whatever, but I don't know, just to be, and they're all the same size, right? But just to be consistent, we'll just say, hey, it's the last tile. And the direction we definitely want to be getting from the last tile. Okay, so what do you think of that? What do you think of that? Now, I got a for loop to add a whole bunch of stuff on here. Don't really need that. Don't really need that. What am I doing with this box size thing? Nothing right now. So what would happen if I did this? What happened if I said, hey, let's add a body on like this? I don't know. We'd ever see it really. But basically, we're in here. We're gonna say at some point, let's say if how about every 1001, 1002, every second? You think if count mod 60? We can always change this, right? We're just gonna say S1 dot add. The generic one. Wait. All right, how about that? How about that? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So I feel like, mod 20. Yeah, I should have seen something. Or why am I not seeing anything? Well, the truth is, I really do think I am adding onto the body here. So in fact, I'm going to print this out right now, and I'm going to print s1.size, just so we can take a look at this. Okay. So that's the size of our array list. What's my Oh, it's not S1, it's S1, not body. All right. Go. 1001, 1002. It's about every second it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So guess what? The size is changing. It actually is changing. So it's funny, I can't see that it's changing. Well, the reason I can't see that it's changing is because it's literally being put right on top of the last tile, right? So it is changing. It's being put right on top of the last tile. So we write this add body method. We have to change the value a little bit. So let's try this. Let's say x plus equals box direct. Box direct. How about that? No, box direct by box size. All right. Oh, you can see it growing. You can see it growing, can't you? It's growing. It's all cool. It's all cool. Oh. It's weird. But does it sort of make sense what's happening here in the sense that like it keeps moving, it's the X value keeps changing when I put it on there, right? So yeah, so now I'm going to come back here, and maybe now that reveals, like, we have to take into consideration the direction that that last tile is moving in terms of where we want to put the tile. And we could see that when the direction was moving left, we wanted to change the x value and put it behind it, right? Well, what if it's moving up? Well, we're going to want to change the y value and put it below it, you know, and vice versa for all these things. So bottom line is, when the direction, and this is the direction of the last tile, right? So that's, we're storing that in the variable direct here. So if direct equals 1, I want to change the x value and put it behind it, right? I believe 2, I can't remember what 2 is. 2 is up. 2 is up. Okay, so where are we? So direction is 2. I'm going to need to change the y value and put it below, which means I need to make the y value bigger. Okay. So if direction is 3, we're moving to the right, which means I need to change the x value and make it smaller, put it on the left, right? If the direction is 4, it means we're moving down, and therefore I need to make the y value smaller so I can put it behind it. Okay. And boom, boom, boom. What do you think? What do you think? Okay. And again, you can change your game. You can make the snake grow slower. You can make the snake go faster, depending on how you're updating it. But this looks good, right? It looks pretty smooth. Adding these things on there. You know, the rest of this is just going to be some logic, testing, debugging. You're going to use tiles, and you know, you could just use, you know, I kind of wish maybe I made a different class for the body, but it would extend tile, and it's basically like a tile-like object. The pills are basically like tiles, and you put them out there. So there's some fun stuff to kind of get involved in here too. Like you got to work with the sound a little bit. You get the opportunity to work with the sprites. Subash made a video to help us get the sprites in there, and I think it was Josh made a video too, in case you want to resize the sprites. I saw Trinity's game with really cool day. She did a lot of her own artwork on it. Looks really cool. That's the basic idea. That's the basic idea. And in all reality, it's just, you know, it's a good challenge, right? I mean, it's because, you know, Pong and Breakout are using kind of the same logic in many ways, but you know, you got to think a little bit differently about this one. So of course you can change the speed, right? So if you want to change the speed of something, it's really just in this game thing. So you're saying count mod 20, and that's where we're going to move. You know, perhaps this is a variable value, and that variable value changes. Same thing here, variable value, perhaps variable value changes. Yeah. Did I even use this set initial for it? I don't know if I did or didn't. Yeah, I did set the initial for it. So I don't know if that's something I had before, but when the body is picking up the direction from the board, I wanted to have like the initial tiles they were on have values that they could pick up off of. So that's what I did here. I just set those locations that I had a value of 1. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? But I think with these 3 videos, you should be able to, we're at a point now where you have enough to get the basics of the game going, and you just got to spend some time testing and debugging and thinking to grow the game, you know? But hopefully you enjoy that.